All right, let's dive right into this explainer. Raising kids is amazing, right? But let's be real, it can also be downright exhausting. Today we're exploring the empathy bridge, how to talk so kids will listen. We're going to be pulling directly from some truly proven communication methods that can literally transform your daily life. We're talking about swapping out that constant grinding friction for genuine understanding. If you've ever found yourself just muttering, "Why won't they just listen?" to yourself in a moment of pure overwhelm, believe me, you are absolutely not alone. So many of us wake up, hoping for a smooth, peaceful day, only to end up locked in this intense battle of wills before breakfast is even on the table. You ask them to put on their shoes, they refuse. You say it's bedtime, and suddenly you're facing a full-blown protest. It's totally draining.
Instead of peace, we get this chaotic morning symphony. That's the cup I want. He punched me. I won't go to my room. You're not the boss over me. It's the wrong color cup. The oatmeal looks funny, or his sibling breathed too loudly. It just chips away at your patience, doesn't it? We usually try to logic our way out of it, or we just lose our temper. But as the sources show us, this traditional approach actually feeds the exact behavior we're desperately trying to stop. So, Section 1, the parenting power struggle. To fix all this chaos, we first have to understand the fundamental flaw in how we usually react to it.
When our kids are upset, our very first instinct is to jump in and fix the problem, right? Or explain why they shouldn't be upset. Or, honestly, just dismiss it so we can keep moving with our busy schedules. But we're missing a really critical step here: human empathy. Just put yourself in your child's shoes for a second. Imagine you made an honest mistake at work because you were super rushed. Now picture your boss marching right over to your desk and launching into a screaming tirade right in front of all your coworkers. "I'm not interested in your excuses. What do you think I'm paying you for?" Now imagine hearing that when you're already stressed out. You wouldn't feel cooperative, you'd feel defensive, you'd feel hurt. If a friend came up and tried to calm you down by saying, "Well, your boss has a point, you were late," or, "Hey, stop crying, it's not a big deal," you would probably want to scream. In a moment of pain, you don't want logic. You want someone to just listen and acknowledge how awful you feel. Well, guess what? Our children are exactly the same. Here is the tough truth. When we constantly deny our kids' feelings by telling them they have no reason to be upset, like saying, "You're not tired, you just napped," or, "Oh, that shot didn't hurt that much," we are actively turning them into our adversaries. Dismissed feelings lead to anger and rebellion, never true cooperation. When we deny their reality, they're basically forced to argue louder just to prove that what they're feeling is real. We're accidentally teaching them to ignore their own inner emotional compass. Which brings us to Section 2. Building the empathy bridge. Instead of fighting them, we really need to build a bridge based on deep, active empathy. It's literally as simple as swapping out a dismissal, like, "You're just tired, stop crying," for genuine acknowledgement, like, "It sounds like you had a rough day." By validating their inner pain, we completely diffuse the power struggle. When kids feel right, they behave right. And in the heat of the moment, a simple, "I see something is making you very sad," changes everything compared to an interrogating, "Why are you crying?" Let me share a truly incredible real-world story from the sources. There is a mother whose 3-year-old son, Todd, who had cerebral palsy, was prone to these violent, hours-long meltdowns out of sheer frustration. One day, he couldn't get a simple puzzle piece to fit, and he just descends into a screaming tantrum. Most of us would probably step in to calmly show him how it fits or tell him to stop crying over a toy. But his mom knew that logic was totally useless when her son was emotionally flooding. Instead of trying to logically calm him down, she matched his intensity. She grabbed a purple crayon and a piece of paper, sat right next to him, and asked, "Is this how angry you feel?" while furiously drawing these wild, sharp zigzag lines. It was brilliant. She offered him a remarkable gift, giving his invisible, overwhelming frustration a visible, tangible form. And what happened? The little boy grabs the paper, stabs it, and tears it to shreds until he's absolutely exhausted. He calms down almost instantly, looks up, and says, "I love you, Mommy." She didn't judge him. She didn't tell him to calm down. She just sat with him right in the middle of his storm. That is the incredible power of the empathy bridge. When a child feels completely, totally understood, the fight just drains right out of them.
All right, moving on to Section 3, cooperation without the conflict.
Because look, empathy is the foundation, sure, but we still need our kids to brush their teeth and do their homework, right? So how do we invite cooperation without turning into a drill sergeant? The sources lay out some fantastic techniques. Listen with full attention and silence. Acknowledge their feelings with a simple "oh" or "I see." Give the feeling a name, like "that sounds frustrating." And my favorite, grant their wishes in fantasy. If they're dreading a massive pile of homework, don't say just sit down and do it. Say, man, you sound completely overwhelmed. I wish I had a magic wand to finish all that math for you. Suddenly, you're on their team, the resistance drops, and they usually just pick up the pencil themselves.
And here's another real game changer, the written note technique. Kids, and teenagers especially, hate being lectured. They just tune our voices right out. Well, one dad was so exhausted from nagging his daughter about leaving hair in the sink, he tried something else. He left a funny note taped to the mirror that said, "Help, hair's in my drain, give me a pain. Glug, your stopped-up sink." It's a highly effective, humorous way to correct behavior, and it completely avoids triggering a verbal argument.
By dropping a note, you basically let the environment do the parenting. Another working mom from the sources taped a simple checklist directly to the TV screen. Before you turn this TV on, think, have I done my homework? Have I practiced? When the kid walks into the room, the note is there to greet them, not a tired, nagging parent. It instantly takes the personal attack out of the request. Even teenagers who might normally roll their eyes at a lecture will often appreciate a quick, respectful written note. Something like, "Dear Sam, I know you're busy with sports, but the papers need tying, old buddy. Thanks, Dad." It feels more like a message from a friend than a directive from a warden. It conveys respect, saves your vocal cords, and honestly, it leaves behind a residue of goodwill instead of resentment.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, Alternatives to Traditional Punishment.
This is often the toughest parenting habit for us to break. When a rule gets broken, we think we have to punish to teach a lesson. Grounding, taking away privileges, yelling. But the sources reveal a pretty harsh truth. Punishment is a losing situation for everyone. It just breeds hostility. Kids don't sit in their rooms reflecting on how to be better. They sit there feeling angry at us and plotting revenge. Instead, try guiding them through these clear steps. Express your feelings strongly without character attacks, state your expectations, show them how to make amends, and offer a choice. We're shifting the focus entirely from anger to actually solving the problem.
The whole goal is replacing character assassination with a strict standard of behavior. Notice the difference here. You're so irresponsible. You ruined my tools. That attacks the child's core identity. But saying, I'm furious my saw was left out, I expect it returned clean, that expresses intense, valid parental anger about the action, but it immediately pivots to expectations. You preserve their dignity while teaching them that their mistakes can be repaired.
Okay, Section 5, from toddlers to teenagers.
As this quote perfectly puts it, modern kids' problems require modern parental solutions. These core concepts of empathy and respect, they definitely do not expire when your kids hit puberty. The stakes just get higher. They aren't throwing tantrums over puzzle pieces anymore. They are navigating intense social pressures, academic stress, and an absolute onslaught of hormones. They need you to be a trusted ally and a sounding board, not an interrogator. If they come to you with a problem and you instantly judge their friend or tell your teen what they did wrong, they're going to shut down. You just have to listen, nod, validate, and let them vent.
Now here is a seriously useful tip for handling those heavy conversations. Talk small about big things. Wait for a third-party trigger, like a character on a TV show, a movie, or a news article, to naturally weave in your family's values. Teenagers are terrified of big talks, but if you're watching a movie together and a character makes a poor choice, casually asking, "Hey, what do you think about what that guy just did?" makes the conversation hypothetical, safe, and entirely neutral.
Ultimately, whether they are 3 or 16, changing how your child behaves starts entirely with changing how we choose to communicate. We have to shift our mindset from fixing and punishing to listening and partnering. We have to give up the idea that just because we're the adults, we automatically have the right answer every time. It's really about transitioning from being a boss who dictates orders to being a partner who helps them navigate the complexities of life.
So I want to leave you with this provocative thought. What if the next time your child acts out, you saw it not as a battle to win, but as a plea to be understood? I'm hoping this explainer has empowered you with the tools you need to start building your own empathy bridge today. Because behind every tantrum, every eye roll, and every act of defiance is a human being struggling with feelings they just don't quite know how to process. When we swap our lectures for listening and our punishments for problem solving, we do so much more than just change behavior. We build a lifelong bond based on deep, unwavering respect.